what is your impression of my book? Okay, nice.
All right, viewers, welcome to Real Life JA on JBell Entertainment TV. I am your host, Shane Reed, and we're sponsored by Sky Beach Restaurant Bar and Grill, located in Hopewell, Hanover. And we're also sponsored by Pythagoras Construction. With us, we have a beautiful lady, a beautiful Jamaican / Antiguan, in the person of Dr. Onika Campbell Rowe. You're going to hear more about her, more from her today. Dr. Rowe, welcome.
Good evening, and thank you for having me. And welcome to of everyone who is tuning in and joining us. It is truly an honor and privilege to be here with you tonight. I
All right.
extend my sincere appreciation to you, Shane, for having me.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Rowe. All right. So before we go further into the interview, guys, I'm just going to get some things out of the way. I'm going to do some adverts. So on Monday, we are going to be talking to Alejandra Castillo. She is the current international president for JCI International, and she's from Bolivia. So we're going to be talking to Ali on Monday. On Tuesday, we're going to be talking to Mr. Dwayne Stevenson, right, Well? Yeah. And those of you who know reggae and know music, you know that Mr. Stevenson is a recording artist and he's a world-renowned recording artist. So we're going to be talking to him on Tuesday, April 7th. And going on, Bell, I think on Sunday, we have, well, I didn't teach her at school, but she's a past student. I could say she's a past student. And she is Corporal Monique A. Bartley, Area 1 Lasco Top Cop. So that's on Sunday, April 12th. We're going to be talking to Corporal Bartley. All right, cool. And then going into the other week, we're going to be talking to Lydia Campbell. She's a good friend of mine, and we're going to be talking to her and interviewing her and getting to know more about Lydia. She's also a past president of JCI Jamaica. And we're going to be hearing about what she's up to outside of JCI. And then we have another good friend of mine with Julian Oates. She's a human resource practitioner. And we're going to be talking about all of the things related to human resource management, etc., etc. And her life, her career, and anything else, relating to other things that she does outside of her work. All right, then there's also the Hanover Community Safety and Security Branch. They're having a Rise and Move Hanover. Brel, can you make this a little? Hold on, I'm making it a little. Soca Aerobics. And it's Saturday, April 11, 2026, venue Opal Sports and Community Center. And it starts at 6:30 a.m. So let's move. Admission is free. So guys, we need to get off our ass. Sorry. Hope I'm not saying anything that is that YouTube or whatever. Go out there and exercise. So that's Rise and Move. And then Saturday with autism, I have to mention this before I forget. JCI Jamaica will be hosting our autism forum at Hopewell High School. So guys, please remember to check that out. All right, so sorry guys, we just did that. Back to Dr. Campbell Rowe. So Dr. Rowe,
Yes.
Who are you and where are you from? I gather you're from a parish that I know.
Yes, indeed. I grew up in Chamberspen, Hanover, and Chamberspen, as we know, is deeply rooted in Jamaica. We're a rural community where life was simple, but values were strong. Uh, It is a kind of environment where faith, discipline, resilience, and responsibility were not abstract ideas. They were part of our everyday life. And the community was not a concept that we discussed, it was how we lived. Everyone knew each other, everyone looked out for each other, and there was a deep sense, that your life must contribute to something greater than yourself. My early years basically shaped me profoundly. I attended the Askinish All Aid School,
Mm-hmm.
and those formative years actually built the discipline, curiosity, and inner drive that have followed me throughout my life. Growing up in a rural area also taught me humility. It also taught me endurance. You learn very early that life may not always hand you privilege, or it may not be very kind or favorable to you, but it can still produce purpose. And this is what we really go by in our community. Now, that grounding has stayed with me on every platform that I have entered, whether in the media, whether in diplomacy, education, humanitarian work, or international development. Even now, after traveling and serving in many different spaces, Chamberspen remains part of my identity. It reminds me that my root and my values and the people I represent, no matter how far I go around the world, that little district in Hanover, it lives in me. And that keeps me centered and it keeps me accountable. And not only that, it keeps me real.
Mm. Thank you. So for those who might not know where to find chamber spin, just give us direction. How do we find it?
Chamberspan is in the western part of Jamaica, and it's Lucy,
Mm-hmm.
Hanover,
Mm-hmm.
and west of Lucy,
Mm-hmm.
it's up in the hills, close to the bottom of the Dolphin Head Mountain.
So you okay, cool. So did you used to hike to the walk to Dolphin Head Mountain every now and then?
Unfortunately, I have never been to the Dolphin Head Mountain, even though I would have gone to school less than a mile from the foot of the Dolphin Head. I have never been there. You know, I am an activity girl, but I've never really too liked the hiking
Mm-hmm.
or,
Mm-hmm.
in dark spaces, especially dense places where,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
it was a little dense and you really have to have reasons to
Reasons
go
to go there. I understand.
into the Dolphin Head.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand. When last have you been back?
Well, the last time I've been in Jamaica was in 2022. And
Mm-hmm.
I went to Jamaica to do a heritage lecture for it was a joint initiative between the Jamaica Library Service and the Jamaica Information Service. That was the last time. I'm hoping, however, to be in Jamaica the ending of this month. I am not sure if it is on the invitation to be a guest speaker at a function. So I would not be able to divulge the information yet, not sure how much has been in the public about it. So I
Yeah.
will allow the organizers to do so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any nostalgic memories from Chamber Spend?
When I think about my childhood, I think about the richness that had nothing to do with money. I remember outdoor games, jumping in the river naked. That's how we did in Jamaica.
Yeah, that's how we made it. Yeah, yeah,
With
yeah.
no cares in the world,
World. Mm-hmm.
storytelling, in the evenings, church gatherings. If persons who has Adventist background, they will know about the socials. That is what we
Mm-hmm.
really look towards community celebration, and that kind of connection, that is becoming rare in today's world. We were raised on devices, we were raised, sorry, not on devices, but on our digital distractions. We were shaped we were shaped by imagination and creativity and human connections. So those experiences basically has helped me, in my emotional intelligence and my leadership instinct. What I can tell you about a nostalgic moment is that I was inspired by media from a very young age. And one of the persons who inspired me deeply was Dion Jackson Miller. I
Oh, yeah.
admired her. I
Mm-hmm.
admired her eloquence, her professionalism, and the way she presented stories with depth and clarity. Never just reading headlines, but communicating meaning. I was so fascinated that as a little girl, around 7 or 8 years old, I would gather my dolls, set up empty bottles with straws as though, they were microphones, and pretend, that I was presenting the news to an audience. Even then, something in me was already responding to purpose. Another thing is that there's a thing about me that people would not know, that I was a youth director when I moved to Antigua. I sung on the church choir. I preached in church. I am deeply involved in faith and community life and committed my life to Christ by a baptism when I was 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, nostalgic moment. Ironically, I am married to an international artist, reggae, DJ, and yet I have never been into a club until 2 weeks ago. Uh, I accompanied a friend to a party in New York. We've been friends for 25 years. And, that was a nostalgic moment because, we left about an hour and I was so, so uncomfortable. I
Hold
have
on, hold
done,
on. So you're married to an artist,
yes, DJ, international DJ.
DJ,
Yes.
an international DJ, and yeah,
I've
how
never been
long?
into a,
How long have you guys been married? If
we've
you
been married for 3 years.
okay, and you have never been into a
Never,
okay, cool, all right.
never. Until 2 weeks ago, one of my
Mm-hmm,
girlfriend invited me to a
mm-hmm,
party at a club while I was in New York on
mm-hmm,
assignment.
mm-hmm.
I don't even think my sister knew where we went.
And I think you must have felt like a fish out of water.
Well, actually, she felt like one too because seems like she wasn't even into it. So we stood there and we
Mm-hmm.
drank water. While everybody around, while everyone around was, doing whatever it is that they needed
Mm-hmm,
to do.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yes.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So you left Chambers Pen, Askinish, and went on to Rossi's High School. Um, and by I said when you left Chambers Pen, I should say you left Askinish High School and then on to Rossi's High School. How was Rossi's back in those days?
Russell's High School for me was a defining and transformational chapter in my life. It is widely regarded as one of the creme de la creme institutions in Hanover, an institution where excellence is not only expected, but it is cultivated there. For many students, gaining admission to Russell's is a significant milestone. For me, really, passing for Rassis was a moment of pride and personal validation. It exposed me to discipline, structured leadership, academic ambition, and a broader sense of responsibility. It was one of the places where I began to understand that education could become a passport beyond limitations, you know, beyond limitation, which is geographically. It was no longer just about passing grade, it became preparing for impact. What distinguished Rossi's was its highly competitive academic structure, reinforced through merit and demerit system that continuously assess performance. Students were placed in streams like 7-1, 7-2, and 7-3, and so on, based on their academic averages. So the movement between these classes was dynamic. Students could be promoted or demoted depending on the performance. Now, the system instilled in me a deep sense of accountability and academic awareness. I vividly recall maintaining average within the 70s, then, often balancing between second and third positions within my class. At Rossi's, your class placement was not just a number, it was a reflection of your consistency, your effort, and also your academic standing. Now, there was a strong cultural expectation around performance. At home, it was less about whether you pass, or it's more about whether you maintained or improved your class position. The idea of being demoted from, say, 7-1 to 7-2 was enough to keep you focused and motivated. So, you know what? Parents only collect report cards. And right there, you getting knocked down flat on your back if you get demoted or get a low grade. So the environment cultivated in me a competitive spirit and a commitment to excellence that I carry on to this day. Academically, I was consistent and disciplined. I attended all my classes, entered into competition, ensured that my assignments, were completed and submitted on time, and actively
Hold
engaged in
on.
additional.
Doc, just to pause you, I see somebody said Kel, so I guess you know who that is. I was on the private chat all along. Sorry guys, sorry
Mhm.
viewers. And sorry to cut you, Doc, but I was on the private chat. I wasn't seeing the comments. So a while ago, I just switched over. So there are some comments there, and I think you know those folks.
I can't see the comments.
You're not seeing the comments? I will read.
No.
So J Bell says, "Wow, very nice." And there is Yochel Samuels. I think you know who that is.
Yes.
That's your niece. She
Mhm.
said, "River days were fun. Really missing that now." So now that she's an
She can't
that's
jump in the water naked
she,
anymore.
yeah. Now that she's an adult and she's wearing so many hats now, um, she can't do that anymore. But you know what? Anyhow, and Patrick Samuel says, Kel, I guess you know who that is.
Yes, that's my elder brother.
All right. So your brother is watching. And your Chelly saying love, very ironic. And then one of your another niece, which is your niece, says go. And then she said go Auntie Kel.
Mhm.
And Belly saying very interested. How do you marry to an international DJ and never go out? Are you comfortable with that?
But what you need to understand is that a lot of these DJs do keep their wives away from certain things. If you
There you
look
go.
if you look at the entertainers and who they're married to, you wouldn't see they're married. Most of them aren't married to persons who are in the club.
There you go, Belle. Did that answer your question? And
They're mostly career women.
yeah. And Yochel said exactly dead we lost. So she's saying that she can't. She's responding to the comment where you said she cannot no longer go and just jump off.
Mhm.
We have become so conscious, so self-conscious now. We are now adults. We are now doctor this and MBA and BDE. So we can We can't do all of those things anymore. All right, so get back to Rusty's and not wanting to move from 7-1 to 7-2. Yeah.
Right. So I think I was on the point where I said academic, I was very consistent.
You were
Yes,
consistent. Yeah.
I was very consistent. So there was a thing though, where we were actively engaged in additional learning activities. And I made full use of the Sunday classes, the summer classes, the library research sessions, and I created a 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. study shift daily. And what I would do is that I review all my notes, a.m., yes, when everyone is sleeping. I review
hold on. 2 a.m. So how
to
you get
6
up at
while everyone was sleeping. That is how I study. But you will hear what happened with that. And you will know the reason. 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. study shift, and that would be daily. And it is to review all my notes and to do additional research and read ahead of the class, all of which reinforce my academic foundation. Interestingly, what I do, I would find creative balance, and that creative balance in discipline with personality. You know, I was naturally jovial and at times a class clown. So,
that
but
runs in the family? I guess somebody jovial and always be the laugh.
but I understood that completing my work first and doing well was very important. Now, once my responsibilities were met, I allow myself the space for that expression and that commitment. So, because I know how I stay, I have to study in the night so that I am able to express myself. So, for me, reading became a major part of my intellectual development. I love to read. I completed all my literature texts, and I also extended my reading into series, the Hardy Boys, the Nancy Drew, those are the books. And the habit of read had expanded my imagination, and it has shaped my analytical thinking and also strengthened my communication skills. Now, Rossi's for me also provided a strong academic system where the teachers were accessible, they were structured, they invested in the student success, whether through group work, SBA preparations, or classroom engagement. There was always a framework of support that encouraged students to perform at their best. Now, beyond the academics, Russie's also shaped my leadership and personal development. I was actively involved in netball, playing the position of center, which required agility, awareness, and also teamwork. I was also a cadet, and my experience was instrumental. I know my brother can remember this. Experience was the experience basically was instrumental in shaping my discipline and resilience. Now, through the cadet training, I was exposed to rifle drills. So we were exposed to being able to pull down different guns, setting them up, cleaning them, doing all of that, map reading, survival camp, battalion camp structure. So we've been to many camps at Up Park Camp, and doing all of that. So it teaches me endurance also exercises. And it also built my mental toughness and exposure under pressure. So that is the kind of leadership capacity. I can also remember the vibrant energy of school competition, particularly we can't forget the schoolboy football when it comes to Russies, where school pride and unity were in full display. These experiences also reinforce an important lesson: institutions shape identity. They teach you how to represent something greater than yourself, how to carry responsibility, and how to compete with dignity and purpose. Ultimately, for me, Rossi's was more than an academic institution. It was a place that refined my discipline, strengthened my ambition, and expanded my vision to what was possible. It was there that I began to understand that education is not just about passing exam, but about preparing for impact on a larger scale. So even now, I have taken that approach when dealing with my children, to be honest. And a lot of people will beat me for that. I do not watch the grades that my children get. I watch whether or not they understand the work, or whether or not they are able to apply themselves or even apply it into real life. Because a lot of times we have children, they only study to pass the exam, and that's it. A teacher put a 0 on my daughter's. No, this doesn't happen. But if my daughter come home with a 0, or even come home 16 out of 16 being placed, I'm going to call her and I'm going to take the papers and I'm going to say, come, let me see where you are. Do you understand? And it could be a matter that they do know the work, but they do not know how to apply themselves. So application is key in everything. So this is where my concept is. And I have learned that from being at Rossi's.
Do you remember any of your lit books that you read?
Annie John.
Oh.
Shame, To Kill a Mockingbird. Anymore? The Rising of the Sun.
I don't know that one. The Rising
of the Sun is the plot is in Trinidad. And it spoke of, I don't remember it too well, but I don't remember it too well, but I know the Rising of the Sun. Okay. The plot is in Trinidad.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You mean Raising the Sun? You mean Tiger and Earl Miller?
Tiger and Earl Miller. Oh, yes, them same one. Hey, Mr. Tiger Fool, see?
And you remember the old Indian man?
I don't remember much. I don't remember much about the book.
Yeah, I read that book in grade 9. And the only
I read it in grade 10.
The only thing I remembered, one of the couple things that I remembered from that book is where the author said, Sam Sylvan. I think the author is Sam Sylvan.
Yes, Sam Sylvan, yes.
Yeah, the part where, and they did it.
And they did it, yes. I think Herb Miller was a victim of domestic abuse.
She was a victim of a lot of things.
Tiger want to lick. Tiger is a drink. Tiger is a drunkard.
Yeah. I wonder if I have some books down here. I wonder if I still have it here. But that was a book.
It was something. Trust me, it was something.
It was deep.
Yeah. Extremely deep.
And as a grade 9 student, you don't even understand what you're reading. And sometimes if the teachers, well, probably we were able to understand it or undo it, but I don't know that they really tried to.
Now that we are able to analyze the lesson, and they did what?
But I knew what they did because I wasn't stupid.
Of course, because she got pregnant.
Yeah, she got pregnant. Yeah. Well, yeah, but that was a good book. And of course, Shane and To Kill a Mockingbird, those books.
Yes. And Annie John. Annie John was one of my favorite. Annie John was written between Montserrat and Antigua. And I think the author herself is an Antiguan.
Yeah, I saw Annie John, but I didn't read it because I don't think it was a record. It wasn't one of the books that we did. And then by
Hmm.
grade 10, I didn't pick literature, which I should have.
Yeah,
Now
you
that I'm
should.
looking back, but I ended up doing physics and integrated and all of those crap. And I'm like, why did I do all that? I should have just stuck straight into history and lit and geo and just, but
Hmm.
anyhow, yes, Mr. Patrick, he's saying students of literature. Yes, well, we're students of literature. Yeah,
It's
I did.
good.
Yeah, I did complementary literature in college. So I kind of made up for it in first year in teachers college
Hmm.
because by then I realized that I made a mistake in high school and I should have
Yeah,
actually studied literature because
yeah.
all right, go mommy finger number, go
Oh,
mommy
that's my
finger.
son.
Okay. So she said he
Finger
says
red what?
finger
Finger red
red
what?
number
Number
one.
one.
Yeah,
Whatever that is.
yeah.
Finger.
But
Oh, okay. Thank you, son, for joining.
yes, Patrick. Yeah, thank you, son, for watching. Yes, Patrick. Physics is no. It's. I realized I hated maths, and then why did I end up in physics? I didn't even understand because I didn't talk to my peers. I just picked subjects because they sounded nice,
Hmm.
and then I ended up finding out that Shane, if you hate maths, physics is not it for you. But
Physics is not for you.
that's
You know,
not it.
I used to struggle. I used to struggle with math. And
Hmm.
my brother there is a mathematician. And he told
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
he said, listen, math is not difficult. It is just a concept. And
Hmm.
I remember I was doing trigonometry, sine, cosine, and tangent.
Hmm.
And for some reason I couldn't get it. And he said, hey, this is the formula. And let me tell you something. I ace maths.
Hmm. Hmm.
My son came and ace
Hmm.
maths. And my
Hmm.
daughter, give her the maths, give her the numbers. Because I
Yeah.
always tell them, I said, it is just the formula. Once you know the formula, just like physics, once you know the formulas, you're good to go. Because I used to love the arts. I just read, I just read. And he said, no, my brother, he said, no, you have to learn maths. You don't have a choice because he's in academia.
Hmm.
You don't have a choice. You have to learn it. You have to do it. You don't have a choice. And when you hear they tell you don't have a choice, trust me, you do not have a choice. You have to do it.
Yeah, I wish I had that approach because sometimes I said, okay, cool. Just imagine if you were good at maths
Mhm.
as you have interest in other areas. So yeah, but that's how it is. Agree. Your child says I agree with you with your points on education. Application is really key. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I was a swatter. Like for example, I couldn't pass visual arts, and I was like, you know what? In grade 9, I was like, me going pass a subject here.
And you
And
just swatted.
I just went to home, I just took my notebook and just I just got our exam and just all right.
Mhm.
I was a swatter, but I think I understand concepts, but to pass exam, I'm gonna swat.
Mhm.
It's not a good strategy, but that's how
It
it
is
is.
not, because then you should
Mhm.
be able to retain that for the long term.
Yes,
And
yes.
when you SWAT, everything goes into the short term memory,
Hmm.
and you're not going to be able to apply yourself, later on in life. That is why we have so many persons who are intelligent duns. And, I'm sorry to say that, but, you have all these degrees behind you, but you cannot express yourself, and you cannot contextualize on a number of
Yeah,
issues,
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
because you only study to pass
Yeah.
and
So
not for
stop.
application.
Yeah, that's true. So some say physics is no crap. I agree. Go my daughter-in-law, that's Suzette.
Oh,
So
yes. That's my husband's mother.
all right. And there is Dalton twin Z2. That this is incredible. I think that
Thank,
probably is either a niece. Well, that sounds like nephew, uh, or somebody you know. All right.
mhm.
Cool. So let's continue. So transition. Rossi's to come call. I think
Oh,
you
come see. To come
come
see.
see.
Boy, come see is history, eh?
You are probably in the early set of students, or Probably
I
not
think,
too early, intermediary. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
intermediary, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
How was it though? How was Come See?
well, Come See for me was my first true step into independence and self-definition, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It expanded my worldview significantly because then I will have to be leaving from Lucy to Montego Bay. It's a bigger city.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to learn a new city. You're gonna have to, you're gonna want to learn new things. So it really, I would say, it expanded. I'm gonna call Montego Bay a world. It expanded my world view.
Because
So
it
at
is a world.
County,
It is a world in
it is a
comparison to
world.
Chambers, Penn, and Montego Bay. It is.
Master,
Yeah.
listen, at ComC, I was no longer navigating school life.
Mm.
I was beginning to shape my professional identity. I became more aware of career pathways, whether in the studies that we do in entrepreneurship, communications, sociological perspectives, law, politics, and other complex international matters. So the importance of how one present themselves to the world was what Montego Bay Community College was for me. Now, that season, I'm gonna say that season basically helped me to move from potential to intention and actualization. I began to recognize that gift are not enough by themselves. They must be disciplined, refined, and also it must be direct or directed. ComC gave me that exposure. It gives me that maturity and a stronger understanding of how education connects real world leadership. It is for me a defining period of growth, independence, and professional direction. And why I say that is that one of the most transformative experience during that time was conducted my 30-hour work study. You remember that? And that work study was done at the Jamaica Gleaner Western Bureau.
Oh, that's where, and we're gonna take a break after this. That's where Dion Jackson Miller was. I remember she was there.
No, she was at RGR, but is part of the Gleaner group.
Yeah, she was. Yes, thank you. She was at RGR Western Bureau. So I remember growing up listening to her on RGR, and when she was reporting at that time, she always said she's reporting from Western Bureau, and I was like, Western Bureau.
Yes, they were on Union Street. They were on
Yeah.
Union Street at the time.
Yeah. Dante is your nephew, and he's saying
Dante is my nephew, and Dante is Dante and Danteo. Dante is my nephew, and Danteo is my son.
Oh, why did you do it like that?
Well, that's how our family is. We have Yone, Yonika, and Yochel. We have Onika and Asari. We have Shade and Sadine.
Yeah. All right, we'll soon come back to ComC. ComC let you realize that your gift is not enough. Your gift needs to be. All right, so we'll soon come back to that, guys. We're going to our first break on Real Life with Dr. Campbell from Chambers, Penn, to Antigua, to Nigeria, to all over the place, and we'll soon come to that. All right.
Told you that there was a place where you could meet young people who are changing the world. A place where business leaders, officials, entrepreneurs, and humanitarians come together to talk about building a more sustainable and equitable future for us all. A place where you can network with professionals from over 100 countries, Well, there is a place, actually a lot of places, where change makers are meeting to become the next generation of leaders. Welcome to JCI. We also make sure that wherever we are, we're connecting people with skills, knowledge, and resources they need to succeed in work and life. And even though we much prefer jetting around from continent to continent to meet our international colleagues in person, we're also committed to bringing the JCI experience to you wherever you are. But what makes a JCI event unique isn't just the parties, the ceremonies, the workshops and panels. It's members like you guys coming together, sharing your ideas on what it means to be a leader in the modern world. So, welcome aboard.
Bossy, we are going with this big old bag here. You run where?
You is what? Immigration officer? Mind your own business.
You have anything to declare in that bag?
Officer, you not got nothing better to go do.
Open up the bag.
Oh, me not open nothing.
If you don't comply with the law, I'm going to ask you to step out the vehicle. Where are you going so much bun?
Officer, it's Easter. Everybody have to get bun. My wife, my mother, my father, even my granny have to get bun.
So what? I can't get a bun.
Of course. Because, officer, even you have to get bun.
Go on, they put this in the car.
Buy your mother's bakery Easter bun and share it with the whole family. Because this Easter, everybody have to get bun.
All right, viewers, welcome back to Real Life JA on JBL Entertainment TV. I am your host, Shane Reed. With us, we have Dr. Onika Campbell Rowe. She is originally from Chambers Spring in Lucy, Hanover, and now she is a global phenomenon, and we should hear more about that. We're sponsored by Sky Beach Restaurant Bar and Grill, located down the road from me, and we're also sponsored by Pythagoras Construction. Thank you for joining. Please like, comment, share. So all of those who have not seen or heard from Dr. Rowe in a long while, you can share the link with them. You can say hi, you can ask a question, and we will read the comments or read the questions and all of those stuff. All right, so to pick up with come see, yeah. So those 30-hour or 40-hour work program.
30 hours work study, yes.
Work study, yeah.
Yes, that was done at the Jamaica Gleaner Western Bureau. And that opportunity basically exposed me directly to the realities of journalism, not just the theory, but practice at the highest level. It was during that experience that I met a senior journalist and editor-in-chief, Adrian Freighter, who took me under his wings. And I am going to shout out to Mr. Calvin Brown, who is the godfather of journalism. However, I never got to meet Mr. Brown until recently, who also knows Mr. Freighter and has been doing some connection all over. Shout out to you, Mr. Calvin. I know you're on the live.
Senator Calvin G, bro.
Who, pardon?
In
It's
JC's,
him.
we call her Senate. You call him Senator.
Yes, it's him.
Yes, I know.
Yes. So Mr. Freighter would have taken me under his wing. Literally, we know what we attack when I said under his wings. His influence actually on my life and career, it was immensible. And I'm taking my time to go through this because I want to acknowledge the found did not just teach journalism, he modeled it. He instilled in me the values of resilience, discipline, accuracy, and the importance of pursuing excellence without compromise. Adrian, in my view, and I can only speak from what I have experienced, is one of the greatest journalists I have ever met or even emerged from Jamaica. That is not an option for debate because that is my experience. It is something that I would have directly worked with. His ability to cover complex issues across any beat while simultaneously mentoring and guiding others reflects the level of mastery and leadership that is very, very rare. I remember vividly. So we're still in Comsey, going to work study in my uniform. I remembered vividly one assignment during my work study. There was a shootout between some gangsters and police. Until now, it is the infamous Canterbury killing. And Adrian said to me, "Come with me." I'm telling you, God saved me from Jamaica, you know, because probably I would have been dead by now. Because really and truly, I love this kind of action. He said, "Come with me." And that moment took me into the most intense environment I had ever experienced. I experienced more after. Because a couple of months down the road, when I became correspondent for Hanover, I was covering an assignment where there was a robbery in Lucy and police trailed the guys up to Cascade and they killed everyone and there was a nasty shootout. Nasty shootout. And let me tell you something. Myself and Claudia were covering the assignment and we have to call the Gleaner for backup with vests. We got the story though, and we got it live action. Now, backtrack a bit to the Canterbury and Mr. Freighter, I ended up into Madden's funeral home where the bodies were just thrown down there. And they were riddled with bullets. 7 of them on the count were dead. You know, the realities of crime was stark and it was confronting. Yet, even in that space, he was teaching how to observe, how to report, how to remain composed, not to be emotional, how to respect the dignity of the story and the people who are involved. That experience alone has shaped the trajectory. And crime and police reporting became my beat. And it was, for one point, one of my strongest areas for many years. And I developed a reputation as a multiple award-winning, investigative, headline-grabbing journalist. And that took me also into Antigua. From there, my work has evolved further. And by 2006 to 2008, I began transitioning into more diverse areas of journalism, including...
Before we come there, so don't jump to Antigua yet and don't jump to that life yet. So backtrack a little bit. Dignity, hold on. Kimaya Campbell go on to kill, so she's another niece is watching. So the dignity of the story, that's an interesting take. What do you mean by the dignity of the story?
Now, it doesn't matter how someone died or what activities they are involved in. You have to also take into consideration that they have families. and they are human. And because they are human, you have to ensure that you report the facts and only the facts. It should not be sensationalized, and you should not put the family in a position deliberately of embarrassment. So you report the facts. This is what happened. So there are certain things that you do not do. For example, the bodies were riddled on the ground. You do not just snap a picture and just publish it like that, or you don't share it around. Even though you are privy to certain background information, you must be able to decipher the sensitive information and report only what is dignified.
So you wouldn't call them hoodlums?
It is not a term that I would use unless we know for a fact that they were hoodlums. I would not report that because that is a discriminatory term and it is not supposed to be used in journalism. It is the same way. You can't just go out and say that that person is an AIDS victim. It is someone who is living with HIV and AIDS. You don't walk up and down and say that, oh, the girl deaf. This person is hearing impaired. You don't go out and say that, oh, she's blind. No, that is also discrimination. You said the person is visually impaired. So these are some of the things. You don't say the person, oh, he crippled. No, the person is living with a disability. So there are certain terminologies that you have to know how and when to use it. And you see, the traditional media would have had these fundamentals that we would have used. I see a new word that was created, unalive. I never see anything that me hate so.
Unalive, yeah.
And even journalists, they are using it. It is one of the stupidest term I have ever heard. It is either the person died, the person unalive. Really?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a colloquial term that is used by bloggers, but I haven't really seen journalists using it. Maybe not, but I have not seen it. But it is not something that is supposed to be used in traditional media.
Yeah. So many things have changed now, especially with the advent of social media and all of these platforms. Dignity of the story no longer matters. They're putting the picture out there and all of these things. Yes, even in medicine, we have to be careful of the terms we use. Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Samuels Williams, yes. Cool. This might seem strange at this juncture to ask this, but you have to mix up it with light stuff and heavy stuff. So, favorite food, music,
My
color.
favorite food? You're going to laugh if I tell you.
Well, go ahead.
Well, you want me to start? Want to start my favorite color?
Yeah, music and then flower and food and movie and
Awesome.
pastime.
Hey. All right. So I love a royal blue. And the reason why, it reflects calm authority. It's also confidence, leadership. But I wear a lot of black. I love black. Black is not a color, so I'm not gonna name it as a color, but I love black. And technically for me, it carries strength, elegance, and presence. In terms of music, I love those long time reggae. I love a Tanya Stevens. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love Tanya Stevens. I love Beanie Man. Who again? No remember no more. Anyway, I love gospel music. And the reason why both speaks to our roots It speaks to the resilience, spirituality, and also identity. Oh, I must tell you, I love dancehall. One dancehall artist I love, and that is Spice.
Oh, I'm not surprised, but you know.
Why you not surprised? Listen, I love me some Spice, and you know why I love Spice?
She's
Spice
very
came from.
intelligent.
She's very intelligent. She came from
yes.
humble beginnings.
Yeah.
She does not have a record label, and she builds herself up to the from the ground. So I love Spice for that. And my favorite, you said favorite flower?
Yeah.
My favorite flower is the orchid because it represents strength and elegance at the same time. I enjoy a Caribbean home style meal. And
Caribbean home style meal.
Home style meal. I love chicken back.
Get us sick.
Listen.
In what form do you love it? Do you love it?
I love it. I love it brown stew, and I love it curry. Let me tell you. So,
fry.
So no, I don't like the fry thing.
Oh.
I don't like because it's too kind of hard when I fry because it has a lot of bone.
Yeah.
But I love it. Okay, so give me the curry with the white dumpling, and what again? The white dumpling and the yellow yam. And the brown stew with some white rice. That is how I love it.
Yeah. Chicken back ale. I
love it.
Yeah, it is the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
They have jerk chicken back now, no?
Yes, but I don't. Yeah, because it has a lot of bone.
That one is still.
I wouldn't. It wouldn't. And you asked me about my what movie I like. It's not a movie that I like. I love a SpongeBob SquarePants. So I'm going to give you a choice. Really. When I was in Comsey, that was when SpongeBob came out. And by the time the lecturer leave the board, trust me, who lives in a pineapple under the sea, right on the board, SpongeBob SquarePants, absorbent and yellow and porous is he. I love a SpongeBob. We just write up the board, the whole song for SpongeBob. Until now, I love SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob, listen, all right, SpongeBob is not stupid fool, you know. SpongeBob, and one of the reasons why I love SpongeBob, he's very intelligent. What SpongeBob did, you can go ahead, fool the fool to think you are fooling the fool. You're fooling yourself. And that is a concept that a lot of persons, it is diplomacy. When you think you know and you think that somebody don't know, they know and they're studying you how to move ahead of you. And that is one of the reasons I love SpongeBob.
Isn't that deception though? And we're not getting into your book.
It is not deception. It is not deception. And you know why? I considered it not deception. Not everything you know, your enemy needs to know.
As in, not everything good for eat, good for talk.
Not everything good to eat, good for talk.
Yeah, that's true.
So SpongeBob would be running down to from Bikini Bottom to cross the crop. I'm ready. And and Patrick will think that SpongeBob is an idiot, but SpongeBob is very rich. SpongeBob is very, very rich. SpongeBob is very intelligent.
I hear you. I get it. Yeah, I get it.
So you're seeing it coming out now.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
love SpongeBob. So SpongeBob save his money and let everyone thinks that he's stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
But what he does that and he works extremely hard.
Yeah.
He works
Play,
extremely hard, but
play
he's
fool for catch.
playful with it and he plays the fool to catch
Catch
the wise.
wise. Yes, play fool for catch wise. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. I've never. I was having a conversation with Belly and I saying to Belly that sometimes for some of the shows I don't want any theme, I don't want any topic because the conversations you don't know what will come out. And even right here now, I have never looked at SpongeBob in that way, and here you are, brick. We could even go in a different tangent with this conversation by just what you said a while ago. So yeah. Thank you for that. Moving on. So who is Dr. Onika Campbell Rowe? I've seen your resume, all of these. Yo, how you find time? We still come to that. Well, who is Dr. Rowe? Who is Dr. Rowe?
Ha. Who is Onika? I must say, I would consider myself to be a global humanitarian. I'm a career diplomat. I am a chief global peace ambassador for UN ECOSOC for the Canadian International Chaplaincy Association. I am also a career diplomat and special envoy for World Diplomatic Organization. I am an educator, a human rights activist, and also a communication specialist.
But outside of all of that, is there something about you that your brother wouldn't know, your niece would know, even something that really drives you, that pushes you? Is there an alter ego? Are you Whitney Houston every now and then, and Mariah Carey at that time, and Beyonce? Do you have that inside of you?
I sing very well, but I wouldn't consider myself that. And there's a lot of things, but my family knows that I sing, so I would not consider that.
As in,
that.
Yeah.
But there's so many things that my family do not know about me. One, I don't do anything ad hoc. Anything that I do, I must always be prepared. I am very nonchalant when it comes to what people say about me. I do not care what you think, whether if it is something negative, it is gone in the wind. I am always guided by my conscience. People may not know that my drive began for journalists at a young age, which I would have indicated earlier. And I must tell you, I had my first story published in the Jamaica Gleaner as a contributor at age 12.
Age 12?
Age 12.
So we are right about at age 12.
I will tell you. There was an incident that happened in my community. I can remember it was a summer day and I was watching The Sunlocked on TVJ. There was a little girl that has gone missing for days, close to a week. And they found her. And when they found her, her body was dismembered. And the person who was responsible was someone who lives at our gate. Now, we all know community jungle justice. The community descended upon him and he started to run. And they caught him in the square, a nearby square, and the residents killed him. Yes, the little girl was dismembered. It has always been a habit for newspaper to come home. What I can tell you, my brother always have a newspaper. Newspaper come home almost every day, and it was never in the paper. It was summer. So we have the leverage where we can go to town and, and go about our business and stuff like that. So I went to Lucy police station. Yes, police came and everything, and I told them I need a phone call. I borrowed the directory and I look up for the Gleaner. And I called. When I called the office, I don't remember who I spoke to. And I told them, I said, this happened in my community and I have not seen it in the paper. And they said, where are you calling from? And they started questioning me. And I gave them every detail and they called the Lucy police station. They verified that and the story was published and it says contributed by.
Wow.
12 years old. The second thing that a lot of people may not know, that I am the only Hanoverian to serve Jamaica and the youngest ever in the history of Jamaica who has served as honorary consul post-independence.
Okay.
That is something that they may not know. The third thing that they may not know is that I work extremely hard. And when I said extremely hard, I'm not talking about behind computer alone, domestic. I believe strongly in leading from the front and never from a position, but from participation. I own a laundromat and dry cleaners, and I've owned that for over 20 years. And despite my global responsibilities, I am always hands-on, deeply grounded and deeply grounded. So many times, even when I was honorary consul at the end of a long day, and I walk over, I would just transition seamlessly. I would remove my heels. I will get a hanger. I'll take my jacket off. I would put a slip on. I would start to load dirty laundry in the machine. And if there is a lot of things to press, I will commence the pressing. My staff always love when I come over there because let me tell you something. I am very, very energetic. And once I go behind that ironing board, I can listen. Once I get in the rhythm, I can press over 300 pieces in a day. The more I am telling you, ask my son. Let my son confirm how many planes, how many private jets and sheets I handled during December. At one go, I pressed over 420 pieces. And I'm telling you, I am very neat.
You love ironing that much?
I love it.
Are you from Earth?
I am from Earth. If you have, especially when I am stressed, I function very well under pressure. If you put me under pressure, you get the maximum out of me. But I do not cannot tolerate foolishness. I am a no-nonsense person. And for me, For me, you come to me with nonsense, I don't care who you are, I will cut you off in a minute. And that is me. Because one thing I know, before the public achievement, there has always been private discipline.
Bella Campbell says that's true. I see her.
That's my sister. I don't care who it is. You play with me, that's it. That's it. I'm not tolerating you. That's it.
So Bella help you with the earning?
No. She's not here.
Oh, she's in Jamaica.
She's not in Antigua. She's not in Antigua.
Yeah, she's in. So what motivates you though? What drives you? What pushes you to get up? I mean, earlier you said you got up at 2 a.m. to study. So you wanted to be at the head of the class. I understand that. The 2 a.m. is kind of strange.
I really never wanted to be at the head of the class. Because I know that I can be very idle at times.
So you're preparing yourself. You're giving yourself
I am prepared.
room. Yeah,
I am prepared, yes. Because I don't do anything without preparation. If I know the teacher is going to read this chapter in class, I am going to read it ahead. Because I am not going to sit down and you tell me what you want to tell me. I want to know for myself. And that is how I function. If I ask you your name, tell me your name and then spell it for me. Do not spell your name and expect me to figure it out. That's not how my brain functions. You have to tell me so I can record it and repeat it.
But what drives you now, though, to get up in the morning at 6 o'clock or 4 o'clock or 2 o'clock? What is it that drives you?
What drives me is impact. I am driven by the possibility that policies can change lives, that education can break cycles, that humanitarian interventions can restore dignity, and also that mentorship can alter generation outcomes.
Mentorship can
alter generation outcomes.
What do you mean by that?
The thing is, everyone has a role model. Everyone has somebody who they admire. And everyone has a capability that someone else do not have. And sharing what you know, your expertise, or even helping to develop someone or encouraging someone is important enough to change a generation. The way they think, the way they do things, or even to play that supportive role. It is important.
Okay, cool. All right, continue.
So I do not, for one, I do not believe simply in existing in spaces. I believe in leaving them better than I would have seen them. I have this concept where when you go through a door, keep it open to allow others to come in. The top is a very lonely place. It's a very lonely place. And the higher you go, you're going to need someone. Every day, I am motivated by the understanding that my work must be better beyond me. It must be better than the day before. It must contribute to people, communities, systems, and also, most importantly, the future. And it doesn't really matter where, whether I am at the UN Surge Hub, whether I am in the media, whether I am in diplomacy, whether I'm in academia, whether I am responding to humanitarian or any development issues, I want the outcome to be tangible, ethical, and transformative. I'm sorry. So these are the things that motivates me to get up in the morning and go, knowing that someone's life will be touched and there will be impact.
Okay. All right. Doctor, we're going to shift gear and come to Antigua, but I need to know from Belle, when is the break? So Belle, please, the second break that is, so Belle, please put in the chat when I should go to the next break or second break. And guys, we're going to come to this. You see me have something right there, so yeah. So we're going to come to this. She's also an author. Let me see what they has to say here. All right, so we're going to our second break, guys. We soon come back with real life with Dr. Onika Campbell Rowe, and we're going to go into Antigua after that, and then after Antigua, we go into her book, and then time permitting, we're going to talk about modern feminism, hopefully time permitting. And so, break, we soon come back.
Bossy, we are going with this big old bag. Yeah, run where?
You is what? Immigration officer? Mind your own business.
You have anything to declare in that bag?
Officer, you not got nothing better to go do.
Open up the bag.
Oh, me not open nothing.
If you don't comply with the law, I'm going to ask you to step out the vehicle. Where are you going so much bun?
Officer, it's Easter. Everybody have to get bun. My wife, my mother, my father, even my granny have to get bun.
So what? I can't get a bun.
Of course. Because, officer, even you have to get bun.
Squad, put this in the car.
Buy your mother's bakery Easter bun and share it with the whole family. Because this Easter, everybody have to get bun.
I told you that there was a place where you could meet young people who are changing the world. A place where business leaders, officials, entrepreneurs, and humanitarians come together to talk about building a more sustainable and equitable future for us all. A place where you can network with professionals from over 100 countries. Well, there is a place, actually a lot of places, where change makers are meeting to become the next generation of leaders. Welcome to JCI. We also make sure that wherever we are, we're connecting people with skills, knowledge, and resources they need to succeed in work and life. And even though we much prefer jetting around from continent to continent to meet our international colleagues in person, we're also committed to bringing the JCI experience to you wherever you are. But what makes a JCI event unique isn't just the parties, the ceremonies, the workshops and panels. It's members like you guys coming together, sharing your ideas on what it means to be a leader in the modern world. So, welcome aboard.
My bad, muted. All right, viewers, welcome back to Real Life on JBL Entertainment TV. I am your host, Shane Reed, and we're sponsored by Sky Beach Restaurant, Bar and Grill. Sorry about that. I guess I'm eating too much cheese, and you know what that does, especially for those of us who have
Are you serious?
sinuses.
We haven't had any buns at all in Antigua. We've been
Really?
not even one.
Whoa. All right. We're sponsored by Sky Beach Restaurant, Bar and Grill located in Hopewell, Hanover, and by Pythagoras Construction. And our special guest is Dr. Onika Campbell Rowe, and she's in Antigua. And we're going to get to Antigua. Actually, you know, Dr. Rowe, there's a JCI conference in Antigua in May. And I know there are some persons watching who are planning to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'll be there myself. Belle and myself want to go there, but boy, the pocket is very weak at this juncture. But with God or with faith, all things are possible. So we see what happens with Antigua. All right. So how the heck did you end up to this in the small island in Eastern Caribbean. You left from big Jamaica and gone on a small island. How did that happen?
Ah, Antigua for me, I have to be careful because Antigua for me was, I don't want to get thrown. Anyhow,
Yes. Just you don't. I don't ask any. Yeah. Continue.
Antigua for me was more than a relocation.
Mhm.
For me, it felt like divine intervention. And this for me is, I'm going to go very slowly because it's a very emotional journey for me, which is quite interesting.
Mhm.
I remembered while I was working at the Jamaica Gleaner, I covered an assignment at Sandals Negril, and I met a family at Sandals, and the family, they spoke so much warmth and pride about their country that stirred something within me. Even before then, from reading Annie John, I fell in love with that book and I became fascinated with the ride across the water and the metaphors that she uses, the figures of speech that were used to describe the scenery. So I became fascinated between Montserrat and Antigua.
Mhm.
So, as I said, I was fascinated by the regional connection between the two islands. Somehow, in my imagination, Antigua had already become a place I wanted to experience.
From a
Later,
book.
yes, later, an opportunity came for me to work in Montserrat as a journalist. And that opportunity came through a colleague who used to work at the Gleaner that left.
Mhm.
And so I decided to take the offer. They said I applied, and I was successful. I went, and but shortly after my arrival in 2003, before there was a volcanic ash, and after there was also another volcanic ash, and the environment was really affecting my health. So a senior colleague at the Montserrat Reporter recognized that I was getting sick and mentioned that there was a vacancy at the Antigua Observer. And coming from the Gleaner system, he said, you were accustomed to the pace of the daily journalism and production cycles, and moving into another daily operation in Antigua would make professional sense. Montserrat, basically, it was slow for news, and they have weekly publications, and most of the news that comes out would be press releases from the government information services. You don't know that is not our style.
Yeah, exactly. Mhm.
I applied, and within days, I relocated to Antigua. By then, I was 23 years old.
So you pick up yourself, young girl. Pick up yourself. You said I will eat enough bun for both of us. You pick up yourself, young girl, left from Jamaica to small Montserrat, and then couldn't deal with the volcano ash, and then gone to Antigua. Why not North America though? Why not Canada? Why not
It
US?
has never my it. I have never been a fan of North America. Even now, the longest I have ever stayed in the US is 2 weeks, and it's because I went to the UN to work at CSW. It is not a place that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
I just see those places for shopping and and just in and out. It is not somewhere I cannot deal with the cold.
I agree with you. I agree with
I
you.
am not I am not living in any icebox, and I am not. Listen to me. My sister is on the line, but I tell you, I was with my sister for 2 weeks, and every day I pray to God, snow don't fall, because I tell myself that if that snow falls, she's going out there to shovel it by herself. I'm not helping her.
I agree with you. Canada
I
is
am not. I am not doing it, and I'm very serious.
Canada is even worse. I would be cuckoo if I lived in those places. I can't just deal with the darkness and the coldness and no,
I can't deal with it. I love my freedom and I love my sunshine. I will send them some sunshine if they need it, but I am not staying there with you. I want to tell you something. I said I was gonna. I said I wasn't going to say it, but that family gave me $5 EC. I think it is significant to note. And I'm gonna tell you something. I signed a contract before I left Jamaica with the company, and they told me that when I get to the airport in Antigua, they will have some money there for me, and I trusted them. I went on that plane with $5 EC. But the company is a reputable company, so they delivered. They said, when you get out of the airport, go to the ACB bank. A lady by the name of Lavina Roach was there, and she presented me with an envelope with 1 month's salary in advance. $5 EC I boarded that plane with. Now, what stands out to me, even now, is that there were people in Antigua who genuinely shaped my journey. Coming over from Montserrat, because I really didn't spend any time there. I spent like 3 months there. So there were people in Antigua who genuinely shaped my journey. And I am going to call their names because these are people who, they have positioned myself as my parent. And if you tell them that they're not, if you tell them anything else, they would say, listen to me. I know that little gal from Sudan, and she just come, it's pride to know.
Yeah.
And these persons who have shaped my journey is the now Prime Minister, the Honorable Gaston Brown.
Gaston Brown?
Yes.
Big man.
And he was the then Minister of Planning at the time. And he would have provided political and contextual support and helped me to shape my understanding of stories in governance, that I was able to be effective in journalism in Antigua, because it's a whole different dynamics. 2 decades later, he remained a mentor. In fact, when I got married 3 years ago, he was my giveaway father. And nobody else could have gotten that position.
Whoa.
Another person is my editor-in-chief, and that is Mikkel Bran. Mikkel Bran and I are basically the same age, but boy, Mikkel behaved like she's my mother. And she basically mentored me, and she played an important role in my well-being and development. I want to say something that is also very crucial as a young girl, and I took it very serious. My former boss would have gotten a taxi for me, ordered a taxi for me when I got off the ferry, when I landed in Antigua. And when I got to the taxi man, boom pipe. The taxi cross up, you see? The man just write up everything. Listen, the man just write up everything on the taxi, like if you say boom pipe. I said, but boom pipe is a month's ration. And I said, why would he get this taxi for me? Anyhow, That was when, because they knew I was getting sick and they were looking out for my well-being. So everyone was on board for me to relocate. And all of these, that is why I said, is divine intervention, because no boss is going to bring you from your country and then going to get you another opportunity because of your well-being. No way. So Boom Pipe was to take me to Observer. And he said to me, young lady, what you doing in Antigua? So I started to explain to him that I was working at the Montserrat Reporter, and I gave him the whole history that I gave you. And he said to me, Antigua is a tough place, hey? And I said, what do you mean? He started to talk and I listened. I really never know the place. But he drove me and he took me 2 places. He took me down by a place by the name Gray's Farm. There was a club down there. And he said to me, I do not want to see you here. Then he took me on a place by the name of Popeshead Street. These areas are red light districts. And he said, I do not want to see you here. And I said, what happened here? He said, a lot of young ladies come to Antigua. They come to work and they fall on difficult time and they begin to prostitute themselves. I said, he said to me, your former boss called me to take you up to your workplace, and I will have an eye on you in this country. And he said to me, you are smart, work hard, save your money. He said to me, every cent that you see on the floor has value, pick them up. The first vehicle I bought was a Honda Accord, and it was from coins I picked up on the floor, $15,000 cash. You hear what I tell you? Bum Pipe happens to be the gentleman who drives a taxi, who I hired as a chauffeur for my son to take to school, to bring my son to school. And also, when I get busy, he is the one who brings my daughter to school. That was before they had an official driver. And that relationship with Bum Pipe, every day I have that in the back of my head, and I told my son the story. And it was never easy. I remembered one day I was walking to work. I am going to tell you something. I came from Jamaica, but we know very badly. I have a good roof over my head. I went to good school. And irrespective of whatever it is, I was able to eat morning, noon, and night and have pocket money. And when I was walking to work, it was a distance, probably a good 2 miles. Rain came down. And I looked up in the skies and I said, God, I started talking to God and I said, God, is this what I leave my home for? And then when I walked a section of the road, water settled and a car came and splashed me. Pop! And tears roll out my eyes.
So
and I
you're wet, done wet. And the car just come and just...
And splash me back. And it was at that defining moment, I said, I will make it in this country. I said, I turned and I said, you think you're going to break me? You're not going to break me. I will make it in this country. And I continued to walk. At the time, I worked beyond the airport. So by the time I reached the airport fence, the sun came up. Sometimes, I don't know if you know how New York weather, bipolar, that is how sometimes the weather in Antigua is bipolar. It cannot make up its mind whether it wants to rain or sunshine. So the rain would start and then it will just stop and then sun come out and rain again. Can't make up its mind. I decided that I was going to make it. Though young, I said, Mikkel would have carried herself with the care and guidance of a mother. She took me shopping for professional wears. Remember me young, you know. We are accustomed to have on our jeans and t-shirt and our sneakers running around.
You're about 24 years old at that time.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We are accustomed to that. There were others, such as Devon Benter, who encouraged my entrepreneurial side. Within that 20s, decided to open the laundromat. And it was a birthday gift. It was a business that it was going out of business, and I decided to purchase it.
So
I didn't stop working though.
So you purchased it cash?
Cash note.
That was how long after being in Antigua?
That was 6 years after.
You took to heart what that gentleman said to you about those when he took you to those 2 streets, and you took that to heart, no doubt.
I took it personal.
Mm-hmm.
I took it personal, very personal. I took it.
Neely said, Senator. I don't know if that's.
Pardon?
Referring to me, somebody in the comments said, Senator. That's our JCI
Okay.
award. So I'm going to assume, but I know the name Neely, so that this could be work. This could be a colleague, or this could be JCI colleague. But whichever it is, Neely, thank you for watching. I think it is work. All right, Neely, let me know if anybody else from work is watching. Just let me know so that I behave myself. I don't start to behave uncharacteristic.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so back to being 6 years in Antigua and buying. So thanks for watching, Neely. Thank being in Antigua and buying a laundromat. What's a laundromat? What do you do there? For those of
we do laundering of clothing. We also do dry cleaning of clothing, like suits, pressing, spot and stain removal, all those. Wash, dry, fold, fluff. That is what it does. So Antigua would have provided me room not only to work, but to evolve. Antigua became for me a place where journalism, communication, entrepreneurship, diplomacy, and development all converge in my life.
Have you been to all of the beaches? I think there were 360 something beaches, they say. You guys claim that you
Can I say something? That should have gone up. I have a fear of open waters. I would go to the river, but I would not go to the sea. But I don't go to the sea.
You come from Hanover. Come on.
I would go to the river, but I am not going in the sea. I have a fear of the open water.
Which is worse, though?
Since I live in Antigua, I have probably gone to the beach probably 2 times. And I went on a boat tour in Barbuda, and that even made me get even worse. I can swim. I can manage to navigate depths of water. You know, country people, we know how to swim.
Yeah, because you have the river, yeah.
Yes. And I went on a jet ski. My son was on the shore, and my friends were on the shore. And the guy who took me out on a jet ski dumped me where I can't see land. The jet ski literally ride the wave, go up in the air and throw me off in the water, and it gone left me. I'm speaking dialect because we're Jamaican. Mm-hmm. It gone left me. So I had to push myself up and begin to float until he starts, because the jet ski already rough up the wave. So you're gonna have to start to float to balance on the wave. You can't try to navigate that. You have to balance until he was able to circle me and pick me up. From that, I never go back to sea. And nobody can get me to go there. Never. Not even on the sun. I'm not going.
Your brother says, I can't swim because I won't die by drowning. So you guys are from, I mean, come on. You guys, okay, I understand because I couldn't tell when we go to beach and the beach down there still. So I understand.
I am not going, but what I can tell you, Antigua has beautiful beaches.
Yeah.
I am not, Jamaica, I love you, but I do believe that Antigua has the most beautiful beaches in the Caribbean. Barbuda, the pink sand beach, very beautiful. I love my country, Jamaica, but also I love Antigua too.
Which do you like? Which wait, it's in a scale. All right, so we're weighing it now. Where are you, Antigua or Jamaica, in terms of love?
I'm going to say this. I left Jamaica when I was young. So, shortly after I finished school, I left Jamaica. So most of the shenanigans that I would have normally do, in my 20s, I really never get to enjoy it in Jamaica. I would choose Antigua. I'm not sell out, but I would choose Antigua.
Yeah, because your 20s, probably nobody remembers you in Chambers Pen because you left at, you know what I mean?
They do.
What I mean?
They do. Of course they do. I go to church. I go to church there. You know what? It's true because the older ones would have remembered me. The older ones
remember you. That's what I mean.
Yes, so but the new, because when I went there in 2022, I have to be asking, who is that? Who is that? And who is that? But those that I would have grown up with, most of them would have left the community and they're now living their separate lives in different places.
So you go to Chambers when you are a stranger.
Not really.
You're not
I still love Jamaica. Listen, I love Jamaica and I'm not selling out. I'm not selling out. I love my country. I have served my country and I have served my people and I have served them with dignity and I have served with pride.
Yeah, but now say you sell out, but I mean, 23 years old in months.
Me not said that, yes, sir.
Yeah. How did you become the hold on, let me make sure I'm calling it the right thing.
Honorary consul.
Honorary consul. How did you become that?
I was doing the work.
What is the work of an what do you do?
I was a humanitarian and I was assisting the people. Because most of the people would really come to me for some form of assistance, whether for documentation or assistance, etc. So the role was formalized.
So you help Jamaicans who are moving to Antigua to get their citizenship and all of those things, represent them with and the concerns they have, dialogue between Antigua and Jamaica. Those are some of the stuff that you do.
Absolutely, to protect the interests of Jamaicans living, visiting, yes, Antigua.
How many Jamaicans we have there? There's an idea that they are closer to us in terms of language, and I have some good friends from Antigua. They might be watching, or they might eventually see this. I'm not going to call any names so as not to get myself in trouble. So my JCI brothers and sisters from Antigua, big up yourself. You know, all of you. If I don't see you in Antigua, I should see you somewhere else around the world in the future. Inspiring story. I had to patch my daughter in so she can listen. Okay, that's great. Good. That's great. Good. Blonde. Thank you for watching. Tanisha Jackson said both. I think she was responding to the debate earlier about whether it's Jamaica versus Antigua. And then Nee says, amazing story, very inspiring. Yeah, so counselor, all right, cool. So you basically, how many Jamaicans are there though?
I'm just going to indicate quickly that I have not been the honorary consul for Jamaica for more than a year. So
Okay.
at this point, at this point, I would not be able to give you a count because I do not have accurate information. So I know that couple of years I could give you the statistics when I was there, but
I'm going to ask Grok or Gemini or Perplexity as what he says, but continue.
right. So when I was there was close to 15 to 20,000 Jamaicans based on the statistics that were living in Antigua, and that was between 2023 and 2024. Any other information that is provided, or even if that number has moved anywhere, you can't hold me to it. I'm giving you previous information while I was serving.
Grok is saying it's 12,000. I don't know.
Okay.
But that's still a lot anyhow. All right. So did you enjoy it?
If I enjoyed it?
The job as a counselor.
What I can tell you is that being an honorary consul was a tremendous responsibility and a very meaningful season of service. The role, as we would have discussed, involved representing nationals, supporting diplomatic communications, facilitating cultural and economic relations, and often helping people in moments of stress, urgency, and vulnerability. One of the most difficult aspects of such service is managing personalities, emotions, and also expectations. Public service requires patience. There are moments when people are emotional, impatient, or even verbally difficult. And
disrespectful.
Yes, verbally difficult.
You're not okay, Doc. Okay. All right.
And yet, you still have a duty to remain professional, fair, and solutions focused. It teaches me how to separate emotions from duty. It is like it takes me back to the Madden Mog.
It takes you back to Madden.
To Madden Mog, yes.
Yeah.
Where you have to learn to separate emotions from duty. How to say no.
You know, not to cut you, I should have developed that experience, but we have so much to talk about. I'm not going back to developing that Madden experience psychologically and socially, coming from Chambers Pen and then going to Montego Bay and seeing that. I'm not going back there. The brain is kind of getting continue.
But you see, I would have
you are going to go there.
I would have gotten to the place. I covered some of scenes that you know I could sit there and a body over there decaying and I'm eating and I don't even care.
All right, let's not go there. Let's not. Continue.
So it teaches me how to separate my emotions from my duty, and how to say no when necessary, and how to navigate difficult circumstances. And I'm slowing it down with dignity.
Is it paid or voluntary? It's voluntary.
It is a voluntary. It is non-payment.
Non-payment. Yeah. So I am used to that. I understand that. Right, Yoshel and others who are watching, we are volunteers. I have a extensive 12, if not 15-year voluntary career where, yeah, I know what it is like to leave work, to take day off from work and actually go to a clinic, helping out, and then so leave home at 7 o'clock and come back home like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock after debriefing, and then get up and go to work the next day and all of those stuff. Yeah, I know what it is like to volunteer. So, and then trying to be nice to people when they are being disrespectful to you, or being, what is the terminology that you used earlier?
Tell me to say what?
Instead of saying disrespectful, you use a
verbally difficult.
Verbally difficult. I'm being taught. So instead of saying disrespectful, you say verbally difficult.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know that I like some of these new jargons, but it is a time in which I don't. It seems to sounds too cosmopolitan and too reformist.
It's diplomacy.
It's diplomacy. I understand that diplomacy is important, but as a country boy, sometimes I like just being raw. Yes.
For the purpose of these questions, I have to. For the purpose of this particular question, I have to toe the line.
Yeah, I understand. All right. Outsider, so you're a journalist, you're a volunteer. I know you're involved in counseling. Let's list some of the stuff that you're involved in before we get to this. So we want to get to this book. So you're a counselor, you're a minister.
No, I don't do counseling.
You don't do counseling?
No.
Okay. You're a motivational speaker.
I am, yes.
Yes, my bad. And you're a minister of religion, or is it that you do ministry?
No, I'm not a minister of religion, but I do. I'm going to say this. Whenever it is that I get bored, I study. Whenever you put me under pressure, I study. So I do study. I went, and one of my PhD is in ministry.
Hold on. Accord to you now.
I want to see what it is, but I don't practice.
So you're bored.
So I just go study.
And you get up, take up your good proper self,
and take
up your money, your good proper Antiguan EC dollar strong, which is actually no stronger than in Jamaican currency, unfortunately.
And study ministry.
And study these various things just because you're bored?
I want to know what I believe in.
Well, makes sense. Logical. Yeah. And you are an Adventist.
Yes, or whether, well, not anymore. Right now, I am not into religion. Religion speaks for itself. I do believe that there is a supreme being, but I do not believe in religion. I do believe that religion segregate people.
We're not going into that. I have to get to your book. So I hear where you're coming from philosophically and theologically and sociologically. Yeah, I get that. So I'm not going to go in that. Yeah. Enjoying this, Senator, quite informative. Thank you, Trish. Trish? I think so. And Greg sent an emoji. I don't know what that emoji means, Greg. I don't know if you know what that emoji means.
I can't see it.
Yeah, she can't see. I don't know. Greg, expand on the emoji. I'm not an emoji person. That's not my language. I am verbally linguistic, which is not normally the male brain. I'm a bush boy, so I'm kind of physical and verbally linguistic. Don't like football, though. Football is nonsense. Moving on. My friend George, that's what Patrick Samuel says. Okay, all right, Patrick. So, Doc, there are so many threads. It's nearly 2 hours, and there are so many threads of conversation that could pop up. I'm not going to pursue them. And one which you just mentioned is the idea of believing in a creator, in a supreme being, and not religion. And I am not going to, because I am a religious education student. I studied religion in religious education in college, and yeah, I'm not going to go down that route. So get to your book. Belle, let me know if I should go for a break and then get to the book. What else you want to tell me about Antigua that we have not spoken about? It's small in relative comparison to Jamaica, yeah?
Very small, yes.
Yeah. Hold on, let me see how much people live there now. I'm not going to chat foolishly. It's population of Antigua.
There was a recent population census, and that census has not been released yet. So the information that you see may not be fully accurate.
Yeah, I'm asking Gemini this time and see what Gemini says. Population of Antigua. Come on, Gemini. Come on. So it's estimating. And it says 93 to 94,000. That's like, hey, Montego Bay, St. James has, hold on, population of St. James, Jamaica. Population of St. James. I know Hanover is about 60,000 persons living here per or more, or probably St. James, Jamaica. So it's a little place, man. How we not go? Do you think Antigua will be around in the next 100 years?
Absolutely. And 200 and 300 and 500 and 1,000 more years.
St. James has 188, 656,000 persons. And whoa, you guys are a small island.
It is a small island that is strategically positioned.
Yeah.
And yes. And one of the things that Antigua opened doors for regional and international impact. Is a very powerful country, even though small.
Yeah. And you are tourism base.
Tourism base, absolutely.
Call center. You have any call center?
Yeah, several. They have several call centers.
Yeah, you don't have petroleum. I'm trying to remember from my geography.
Petroleum. There's
residue, I think.
Residue. What do you mean?
As in some
Antigua
petroleum.
Listen to me. Antigua has everything, and Antigua is very developed.
Yeah.
Very
expensive though.
No, it's not.
Really?
You have to and the standard of living. I wouldn't say it is expensive. The standard of living is very high, and $1 is considered $1. Yeah. And it is the EC, the Eastern dollar, is pegged to the US at 2 to 1. So it is not like our Jamaican dollar, when I can send on 100 US and I get 15,000 of that.
Yeah.
So it is pegged. So the standard of living is very high, and people live very, very, very good.
I agree. That is one of the things that I am very jealous about when it comes down to St. Lucia, Antigua. GDP per capita is very good in comparison to us here in Jamaica. And we are a larger island. We have more human resource, more natural resource, and our GDP. For example, it's saying, Gemini is saying your GDP for this per capita, which is the average income that Antigua earns for the year, is 23,120. I think adult Jamaica has reached 10,000 US. Let me find out from Gemini, and then we go to the break. The last time I checked, it was about 6,000 US.
Okay.
And that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Because to be so big and so, let me not even get into that. Hold on. GDP per capita, Jamaica.
And the government of Antigua does a lot of subsidy. They have implemented a number of programs that, has really enhanced the standard of living of the nationals here.
Yeah.
Just
And
recently, the government of Antigua would have paid for the CXCs for every student in Antigua who would be sitting the exam for 2026.
8,000. Sorry to cut you. So our nominal GDP per capita is 8,760 US and Antigua, which just has 90,000 people living there, not even 100 people there, has a GDP per capita of 23,000, whatever. So, yeah,
Standard of living is very high.
Yeah, your son, I give it to you. Something very important I've learned about Antigua is that they do not export anything. Yeah, you are an you're import-based country. Yeah, and that's a positive to be so import-based and still yet have a GDP per capita that is better than my own country. I'm like, we need to do something.
I guess it's they would say it's proper fiscal management.
Proper fiscal management, and the Antiguans and the Barbadians and that pisses me off.
And one of the things to their dollar does not slide.
Yeah, it's pegged to the US.
So it's pegged. Yeah. So that also is a very important indicator that they managed to keep their dollar stabilized. Yeah. It is not like Jamaica where the dollar moves up and down and fluctuate. It's really difficult to have stability in that way because the prices move each time.
All right. Break. Read some comments and then go to the break. Salute, Benny. Thank you for watching. Salute. You wear many hats, Mr. Reed. Roxanne. Work. Yes. I kind of wear a couple of hats. Let's see which one will stick on the wall. So I'm throwing some things on the wall. Let's see which one will stick. Yochel, you're right, Senator. What was I right about Yochel? Antigua being richer than us? Or expensive? I think, yeah, it's... yeah, and I read Neely's comment. Something very important. Yeah. All right, cool. Break. And then we get to your book. And I think I'm going to wrap up with your book.
Book.
All right. Bell advertisement. So Monday, I'm going to Bolivia vicariously. I do not know if she's in Bolivia. Quite likely she won't be coming to us live from Bolivia, but she's from Bolivia. She is Alejandra Castillo, a good friend of mine. And we're going to be talking to her about Bolivia, about her early life, and about what she's doing as international president for JCI International. And I don't know if I'll catch up with her in May, but let's see. And then Tuesday, we go in music. So, yeah, I kind of go around the place when I'm ready. So we're going to Dwayne Stevenson from the Little Cottage in Negril. He popularized that song. So we're going to be talking to Dwayne Stevenson on Tuesday. And then we're going to Sunday, the 12th. We're going to be talking to Monique Martley. She and I existed in the same place at a period in her life and my life. I did not teach her, but she was a student at Hopewell High. So we're going to be talking about her. She's also Lascaux Top Cup, and we're going to be talking about all of that. So that's Sunday the 12th. Then I'm going to be talking to a good friend of mine, Lydia, and that's Thursday the 23rd. She is an entrepreneur. She's into pottery, making pots and all of those things. She's going to school. And then we're going to talk about her life and her career inside and outside of JCI. And then after that, we're going to be talking to another friend of mine, Julian Old. She's a human resource specialist. So we're going to be talking about human resource, her life from St. Elizabeth into urban area, Kingston, and also the JCI aspect of her life. So we're going to be touching those things with Julian. So that's what's coming up for the rest of April. If you want to do an interview, talk to me and we'll make it happen. Rise and Move, that's 6:30 p.m. That's Saturday. That's down the road from me. That's at the sports complex. And that is put on by the Hanover Community. Hanover Community Safety and Security Branch of the police force. They are trying to get us physical, and that is Rise and Move Hanover Soca Aerobics. I think this is Carnival. And yeah. So, yeah. And there's the Autism Forum that is coming up. Belle, please find that flyer. There's the Autism Forum that is coming up put on by JCI Jamaica, and it will be Saturday the 11th at Hopewell High School. So please check that out. So, Dr. Campbell Rowe is also an author, and I've read this book. Well written, Dr. Rowe. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're motivating me to try and see if I can still the noise in my head every now and then and try to put some pen to paper. Yeah. So we're going to go through this book, but before we're not going to go through all of it, but there are parts of it that I want to take you through. And I'm going to ask you questions about it. But what motivated you to write this book?
My book, What the Enemy Took, I Am Taking It Back, was born out of a deeply personal place of reflection, struggle, faith, and resilience. It was inspired not only by moments in my own life where I had to confront adversity, disappointment, and spiritual warfare, but also by experiences I observed in the lives of so many others. I saw people walking through life carrying silent wounds, wounds caused by pain, betrayal, delay, rejection, grief, and gradual erosion of confidence, identity, and peace and purpose. Many were functioning outwardly, but inwardly, they had lost something very significant. I myself would have experienced significant loss. And it was only this afternoon I was speaking to my niece, and I was telling her that I was being bullied. I don't know if my brother knew I used to carry some weight, and they used to call me Miss Piggy. And you know, that has deep wounds. Of course, sometimes I fight, I try to defend myself, but some of those wounds are there throughout even my adulthood. When you're walking and you hear the bullies, picky, wiggy, 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 you know, things like that. I was bullied. Not only that, we were surrounded, our house was surrounded by sugar cane. And they stick a name on me, Cane Piece Princess. They brought that to school. That reality stirred something in me, even from my experience as an honorary consul. Traumatizing experience. Sometimes we would have gotten death threat. I realized that we were living beneath what the universe has intended for us because we accept some things as permanent. We have also noticed our experience that persons most of the times are not real. They would come around just to be around, and then they ended up hurting you. Many have lost joy. Some have lost vision as to where they need to go, because you would have started a vision, you would have discussed it with your friend, and by the time you look, your friend may have had the resources or even the connection, and that vision that you have started has now been materialized by that same individual. You've lost opportunities, you've lost relationship, dignity, strength, faith in yourself. You even have lost time, because time is money. You've lost your emotional stability and even the courage to begin again because you are fearful. So I felt compelled from a very personal space to write a book that would speak directly to that place of loss and remind people that what has been stolen, what has been delayed, what has been broken or buried does not have to define the rest of your life. It doesn't.
Nicknames. I mean, being boys and being country and rural. Damn, you gave, for example, I think this is the first I'm going to say this on a verbal outloud. One of my nicknames was White Fowl. I can you guess why they call me White Fowl?
No.
Because before the voice went like this, it used to be very high pitch. And yes, a very high pitched voice. So they cut, and he had that very, sound that was kind of, I think that's why they called me. And then by grade 9, though, they had to just stop with that nickname because my grade 9, the voice was like, was just pushing you down. I remember being in class one morning and Miss Small, she was my grade 9 form teacher and also my Inti science teacher. And she's like, frocking at your throat, man. And I am like, huh? Because I didn't even realize that, all of the hormonal changes and all of this.
Puberty.
Puberty just kicked in real. And then the high-pitched voice just went way down here. So no, at that age, I was like,
that bass tone.
Bass, yeah. So I would grow the hair tall, and the voice would, especially when I'm going out with daddy, I'm going to bush with daddy, I'll just wear his old boot and have a machete and just, and I'm there, yeah, man. Yeah. So from White Fall to being, you hear the voice? None of them so like me. When a boy, me a man.
Children. Children can be very cruel. They can be very cruel. And the inspiration came from a burden to offer encouragement. The thing is, I did not only just want to write something that merely sounded motivational for a moment, but something that would have left the reader, or something that would have left the reader unchanged. I wanted to write a message that was a healing, something that was empowering, or even or even to restore.
All right, so going into literature format now, page 12. paragraph 3, line 5. While reading, I noted 1, 2, 3, 4. This paragraph was speaking about lies. And I think based on what you said earlier, suffering from lies that persons close to you will tell on you. Is that one of the worst things that can happen to you, or compare that to the death of a close relative versus to somebody telling a lie on you? Which is it? Which is worse?
I am going to say this. Thank you so much for that question. For me, my brother and I always thought a liar do not need anything to tell lie on you.
Mm-hmm.
A liar would wound you, and a liar would put you in a place of no recovery. I prefer to deal with a thief than someone who tells a lie.
Mm-hmm.
So to put the word of God talks about death, and for me to put in a position of mourning,
Mm-hmm.
the Bible says that a man is appointed once to die.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There is no one that has ever come back from the dead and said that it is not better than the afterlife. And trust me, if behind death was something horrible, they would have come back. Which means they wouldn't want to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
So we just don't know what is behind there. But for somebody to tell a lie,
Mm-hmm.
it is one of the greatest and wickedest thing you could ever done. The Bible speak about a lying tongue as an abomination. You know what is an abomination? It is something that is unforgiving.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when someone tells a lie on you, it will cause you not to be able to redeem. It is a form of betrayal. The Bible talks about truth and how truth is powerful. It says you must always gird your loins with the belt of truth. He said, you shall speak the truth and the truth shall set you free. One of the things that I want to say is that words that are spoken or lies may be spoken, but they do not have the final authority over your life. The truth does, but many persons are not really mentally capable to handle the lies. And sometimes the very thing that you think you can handle is the very thing that breaks you. So one of the things that we ask persons to do is to be able to discern. Lie is a tactic that is used by the enemy to distort your perception. So you have to understand that when the enemy tries to use that as a turning point in your life, you have to recognize the lie and use that as an opportunity to confront it as the truth. And I use the scripture because the truth is powerful. John 8 verse 32 says, You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free.
All right, hold on there 1 minute. Let me read some of the comments, and then we're going to go through to page 13, paragraph 2, line 1. And I think I'm going to talk about the thing there is guilt. Again, back to literature. There's a poem that I remember from grade 10 or grade 11, Forgive My Guilt. And I think it's about this. It's about this boy who had killed a bird. He throw a stone and kill a bird. He was a child. I don't know if you remember that poem. And those who did CXC English or whatever, you've probably, this blue greenish book that we use as textbook had it in it. And he was basically, even now as an adult, he was still reflecting on the fact that he basically damaged that bird. So guilt is something that can, as they say, ride you and let you feel less of an individual and affect. So that is compounded. Lies are told on you, and then if you compound that with guilt, we soon come. That is kind of one of the wickedest concoction ever, I think. All right, but with Bill said, for real, sometimes we lost hope. No, you have a great voice. Yeah, Bill, even though I don't like listening to myself. And he keeps cutting me off. Oh, go and listen to the interviews. I said, yeah, but I don't like hearing myself. So anyway, I understand. Very, very powerful. My favorite interview on Real Life JA. Very deep and inspiring. Thank you, Yoshel. And I don't want to go too deep with her, because if I do, we're going to be here until 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. So you'll notice I don't go on certain tangents. I just chop them off. I leave them. Tanisha Jackson, that's so true on that. Sometimes we lost ourselves because of lies, yes. And Patrick is saying lie is the most wicked thing on planet Earth. Lie may be worse than death, because most persons who die leave good memories, or they leave, yeah. Go ahead, Doc, speak your truth. And this is from Nadine Medit Titus. And Patrick Samuels, I'm a victim of lies. Yeah. I don't know how Yeah. Guilt and lies. Guilt, shame, and lies. How do you deal with that? What's the remedy for that dangerous concoction, Doc?
To be honest, I don't think there is no remedy for that. Those persons, according to
Hell. Well, hell.
listen to me. People who lies need to be placed on the bleeding side of the cross. They need to be washed thoroughly.
But
guilt by itself. I want to say this though.
As a victim though of lie and guilt, all right. So you might have done something in your past that you're still carrying the whatever. And then somebody now go tell a lie on you, and that's a lie. You didn't do anything. But all of these things combined together now might make it seem as if you are, these things are happening to you because you are imperfect, or things that you have done and all of these things. So, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to put this into a perspective. Very deep. Guilt by itself is not always a bad thing.
True.
In its healthy form, it is an act of moral compass.
Yeah, it is.
It tells us when something is wrong, and it invites us to correct it. But when guilt is left unresolved, it can become heavy, oppressive, and identity shaping. It is the same thing with lies. That is why I said it is always important to confront truth. That is one reason I do not gossip. If you come to me and you tell me that the chair said, I am going to stop you there, and I'm going to say, bring the chair and let the chair get an opportunity to defend itself. The conversation ends there. Now, when you combine that with lies, especially lies spoken over you or about you, it becomes exactly what you described, a very dangerous combination. Because what happened is the lies tells you who you are, and the guilt convince you deserve it. So instead of saying, I made a mistake, you begin to believe I am the mistake. That is where the real damage happens. But this is where the word of God brings clarity and freedom. The Bible reminds us in Romans 8 and verse 1. There is therefore no condemnation to them that are in Christ Jesus. This means guilt is not meant to imprison you. It is meant to lead you to transformation, not condemnation. And then we see again in 1 John 1 and verse 9, if we confess our sins, he is faithful and he is just to forgive us and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. So God does not just forgive, he cleanses and he removes the residue. But what if you are lied upon? Where does that cleansing goes? Where does that guilt goes? You may feel the guilt, but if you cry out to him, there's a thing that is returned. That conscience, God give everybody has a conscience. So yes, guilt and lies together can feel like one of the most destructive combination, but they only have power when they go unchallenged. The truth is, you are not your past. You are never who people say you are. You are not your mistake. You are not the lies that are spoken over you. There is a thing that is called a mirror. Whatsoever it is that you speak, the first thing that it does, it mirrors you. So however it is you speak about people, it is coming from within you. Out of the abundance of the heart, someone speaks.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that you say or however you feel about people, that is you're speaking about. So I tell you, healing begins when you separate your identity from your experience, and that is very important. You have to separate your identity from your experience. And that is one of the core message of what the enemy took. I am taking it back. Whatever you say about me, I can remember I saying earlier up in the interview, I don't care what you say about me. Call me anything you like, because whatever it is you call me, that is who you are. I don't keep companies with a lot of things. So if you tell me that you're tired, I don't keep company with tired. Whoever it is that you define, that is who you are. So whatever has tried to define you wrongly, whether through guilt, pain, or deception, and trust me, that deception is there.
Yeah. Hold on. So you have basically touched on a couple pages that I was your response, and you're good like that. So I guess you, because we did list out the pages before, some of them. So you have basically touched on page 17, line 6, where I was going to talk about guilt and shame and condemnation. You have spoken about that. And you are now jumping all the way to page 28, which is where you spoke about deception. Yeah. So hold on there 1 minute. Let me go to page 20 line and see what is it that I wanted to note in line 13. No, it's not that page. So you're good. So deception. And then before you speak to deception, I'm going to read some of the comments. Hold on. Let me read the comment. Exactly. J. Bellinty, lies are destructive. So Sammy is responding to the, it's difficult to override well-planned lies with truth. I am talking from experience. Oh my, Patrick, it is so short. People falling in love with lies. Yeah. People would fall in love with anything these days. Especially in the social media age, etc., etc., etc. That's why. Do you think you must always speak your truth? Is it a case that you should just go there and talk out everything what happened to you in your life, especially on social media? Do you believe in that?
Some things are better left unsaid, and as I said, some things are better handled privately.
Yes. I agree, and
some battles should be fought privately.
Yes, some battles should be fought in your closet, in your bathroom. You lock up and roll and holler and ball. And I know that not all persons on here who are watching are religious or whatever, but whatever it is that you do privately to deal with some of your truths, eat it and swallow it and deal with it yourself. Not even your mother, you must tell, because your mother can't handle it. There are certain, for example, even with my own mother, mommy is highly spiritual, highly deep. There are certain things that she deals with that I don't even want to deal, to even try to deal with it, because it's not everything good that you should try to absorb or expose yourself to, because some of them you can't manage it. So yeah, you're right. Okay, page 28, and that's where you spoke of deception. And what is deception for you, and why is it that you basically gave, let me see, I would call it a chapter or a couple pages well to deception? Do you understand by deception, and why should we be aware of it, and how can it damage us, and how can we recover from it? God has aligned you to your purpose, Dr. Campbell. Blessed shall you be, and that's from Nadine Bennett. So deception, why did you commit so much pages to this topic?
It's a very important question. I treated deception to a whole chapter because it carries a complete message on its own. It speaks to something that many people experience but do not always articulate. The internal battle between guilt, truth, and identity. I wanted to slow the reader down and bring them into a space of self-examination. Just like the example you mentioned earlier with the boy and the bird. It highlights how a single moment, a single action, or even a single narrative can stay with someone for years and begin to shape how they see themselves. But the deeper purpose of the chapter is this: to show how you carry internally, if left unaddressed, can begin to define you externally. I gave it that weight almost on its own because I wanted the reader again to pause and ask themselves, what am I still carrying? What lie have I believed? What guilt have I not released? And more importantly, who told me that this is who I am? Because many times we are not living from truth. We are living from experiences that were never healed. And therefore, the turning point where it moves the reader from awareness to responsibility. And spiritually, it aligns with the principles of Proverbs 4 and verse 23. Guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. So, if the heart is carrying guilt, shame, false narrative, then life will reflect that. But if the heart is healed and grounded in truth, then transformation becomes possible. This is why I gave it that level of influence, because before you can take anything back, you must first identify what it is, confront it. Yes. As to what has been sitting within you.
So yeah, deception now. Cool. I get you. All right. So we are human beings. We do things. And I was reading page 29, and it came to me, suffering, as I wrote down, suffering as consequences for actions. And I think I wrote that basically saying that for everything that we do, there is an equal, and I think is what, equal and opposite reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So whether it is good or bad, there are going to be consequences. And as human beings, we have to live with those consequences. So I think I was trying to figure out how do I differentiate between, how do I deal with the consequences of my action, the actual consequences of my actual action? How do I balance that? Then deal with the consequences of a lie. Does that make sense?
I am unpacking it.
Because, all right, you, and I don't know if the audience, because we are human beings. We are in a world. We do stuff. And you might do something stupid. And you're reaping the consequences. And then in the midst of reaping the consequences, this lie comes about. So it is easy for you to rationalize it and say, this is as a result of that actions that I did, action or actions that I did earlier. I am reaping the consequence or the consequences of that action. And one of the consequences of that action is the fact that I now have to contend with this lie.
So that is a very powerful observation. And you are absolutely right. There are consequences to our actions. In many ways, it reflects a principle we understand even naturally. What we do carries impact. But the key distinction I make and what that section of the book speaks to is this: not everything we are carrying is as a result of what we actually did. Not everything we are carrying is as a result of what we actually did. There are two different burdens people often carry. The first one, the consequence of our action that you said. And second, the weight of what is not true but has been placed on us. Now, when it comes to the consequence of our action, it requires ownership. It requires accountability, growth, and sometimes resuscitation. Scripture supports in Galatians 6 and verse 7, where it says, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Yes, there are real outcomes we must walk through. And that is a part of maturity and transformation. But even in that, God provides grace. We are accountable, but we are not abandoned. Now, the second part of your question, I hope I'm answering your question.
Yeah, you are.
Now, the second part of your question, the consequences of a lie, is completely different, because a lie creates false burden. Did you hear me?
Yeah. So the first instance is real burden which you must bear.
Take responsibility.
And take responsibility for as a human being, as a sensible, educated, intelligent, properly aligned human being. You have to man up, woman up to that. All right. Cool. So I get that. So the second one now is perception. False perception.
The false burden.
The false burden, yes.
Yes, it can produce shame where there should be none. It can produce shame where there should be none. Guilt where there was no wrongdoing. And limitation where there should be freedom. And this is where discernment becomes critical. Because if you do not separate the two, you can end up carrying guilt that does not belong to you. Accepting consequences for something you did not do. Or living under a narrative that was never yours. The Bible reminds us in John 8 and verse 44 that the enemy operates through lie. That is what they know. It said they come to kill, to steal, and to destroy. That is not nothing petty. It is not anything petty to kill, to steal, and to destroy. So the enemy operates through lie. And the Bible talks about it. And then in John 8 and verse 32, we are told that truth is what begins freedom. So the balance comes here. You take responsibility for what is truly yours. Do not carry any basket that anybody give you. If somebody give you a suitcase to carry, search it or tell them no, carry it yourself. Because anything could have been in that suitcase you're going through custom or immigration. That is why they ask you the question, is this suitcase yours, or did you pack the suitcase? Are you aware of the content of it? So you take responsibility for what is truly yours, but you reject and release what is not. You learn from your actions, but you do not let lies define your identity, because consequences may shape your journey, but they should never distort your identity. And this is one of the central messages of the book.
All consequences may shape your journey.
Consequences may shape your journey, but it should never distort your identity.
Okay.
You must always strive to walk in the volume of the book that is written of you. Purpose.
So that one moment in time and the consequences of that one moment in time do not define you.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
And this, and the central message of the book is restoration. Restoration begins when you are correctly aligned, when you identify who you are and identify what you must carry and what you must let go.
All right, Doc. Your Shelley saying that's so true. And then she says, whatever the heart carries will be shown outwards. Yeah. All right. So you dealt with that comprehensively. So page 95, paragraph 2. I think here, paragraph 2, line 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think here I was kind of noting about this thing about confessing your struggles to trusted believers. I don't know. I think we kind of deal with that earlier. It's not everything good for eat, good for talk. Yes, I think you answered that, so I don't have to go through that. I get page 95, line 1, paragraph 3, page 95. I wrote here in my little notes, how do you deal with that in an age of individualism? Probably not my generation, or probably not your generation.
Read the section that you're asking me, please.
I think it was the confessing to, I'm starting at the beginning of the page, top of the page, 95 page. So it was the whole idea of confessing your struggles to trusted believer. So this is the whole idea of community.
The faith-based restoration process.
Yes, and I was like, we're living in an age where the idea of community no longer exists per se. We are now at home, we're on TikTok, we're scrolling. Yeah, we're not trusting nobody, everybody are hypocrite and that. So institutions struggle. Whether voluntary institution, whether religious institution, they struggle to get members, etc., etc., etc. Civic institution, they struggle to get members. And I think a lot of us on here can attest to that. And so we are now very, very individualistic. But at the same time, we can, one of the best ways to heal is through community. How do we foster healing through community in an age of individualism? That's what was going through my mind when I was reading that chapter.
All right. So You did indicated that we're living in an age of extreme individualism, where people are more connected digitally, but often more isolated emotionally and spiritually. Of course, I agree that trust has been eroded, community structures have been weakened, and many people have been hurt, even within spaces that were supposed to be safe. When we talk about confessing our struggles to trusted believers, it can feel, of course, unrealistic or even unsafe for some people. But I think the key word that
It's
we're looking
trusted.
at is trusted.
Trusted,
The
yeah.
scripture in James 5 and verse 6 says, Con- encourage, it encourages confession, not as exposure, but as a pathway to healing. It says, confess your faults one to another and pray for one another that they may be healed. So the goal is healing, not really vulnerability without wisdom. And if you're here, I said, use wisdom.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now,
Mhm.
in today's context, wisdom is critical. And I'm slowing it down a bit. Not every qualities or not everyone, sorry, qualifies to hold your story.
Repeat that again.
Not everyone qualifies to hold your story. Not every space is safe. Not every platform deserves your vulnerability. So the principle of community still stands, but the application requires discernment. Community today may not always look like large institutions. It may look like one trusted mentor, a spiritually grounded friend, a small accountability circle, or even guided support in structured, confidential environment. Because healing still happens in connection, but it must be safe, intentional, and aligned. And I would say this. While the world may be shifting towards isolation, we are never designed to do life alone. When Adam and Eve were made, even though Adam was put to sleep, so that woman was made from his rib, he woke up and he found her, he got somebody, and right away they click, they connect. That is why, even up until this day, a friend of mine said, and I'm just gonna say this. It's difficult to understand people because when God made woman, Adam didn't see what happened, He was asleep. So I don't know how men trying to understand woman when you don't even know how it was made. You just see it appear.
Man was in deep sleep.
Deep sleep, a snore.
Yeah,
And all he saw was a woman.
And
No.
some might argue that some men are still in deep sleep. But anyhow, that's a different. Don't go down that tangent.
But so even in scripture, I'm getting back on track. Even in scripture, We see that God consistently work through relationship, through counsel, and through fellowship. So the challenge is not to abandon community, but to refine it wisely in this generation, because silence can protect you temporarily, but the right voice in the right space can help restore you completely.
Yeah, thanks for that. And the last thing from the book from me, I don't know if anybody has any questions. I found this very interesting. It's a long time I have not seen this. It's page 123, and it's line 1. First word.
Stewardship.
Yeah, it brought me back to growing up in the Baptist church, Zion Baptist, and every October is Stewardship Month, and some of the topics I remember, I remember stewardship of my time, stewardship of my money, stewardship of my talent. Yeah, and there are some other topics. And as a teacher, this is, I know that religious education is not taught that much in school, but this is one of the topics in the grade 9 religious education syllabus about stewardship. So it just popped off, and I was like, yeah. So what for you is the whole idea of stewardship? What are we stewards of? And how does that connect with overcoming hurt and lie and deception and all of these things?
Stewardship is such a beautiful reflection. And I appreciate you bringing that up, because the word stewardship is something that many of us were introduced to early.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when Jamaica National used to come to school, and they said that they're opening an account for us?
Yeah. The teachers used to say that, but we don't know nothing about that after that.
That is where scamming started. It is
I
one
don't know
of
if
the
anybody is
biggest,
watching.
it is one of the biggest lies that have ever told to children.
I should have, boy, those accounts. I wonder what happened to them. Guys who are watching, you remember those days? Especially
Every Monday morning they will come, and someone claimed to be coming from the bank will come, and I will get my money from my mother. Or if I didn't get it that Monday, I would take from my lunch money, deprive myself as a good steward. And today, not even a penny back. And every children in Jamaica can attest to this. So we were, and that is where scamming starts. That is the biggest lie that has ever been told to the children of Jamaica. What they putting them money there?
I don't know if anybody got a account. I don't know. I don't know of anybody who was able to say after I left primary school or high school, I walked into Jane Bank or the credit.
I went to ask, and they said they have no record of me having an account there.
Anyhow.
So let's get to stewardship. And that is something that has really motivated me to write this chapter, you know. Because I want my money. I must stop it, right? All right. Because
of course you want your money.
The word stewardship is something many of us were introduced to early, especially in church. But we don't always carry it forward consciously to adulthood. When you mention stewardship of time and money, now I want to make the connection back to our account as children. Many of us have lost, we may look at it very simple, but many of us have lost hope in even reopening an account or even saving consistently because of this very thing that has happened, and the stewardship, the sacrifices that you have made as a child over the years with your $5 and your $10 into a saving account, knowing that when you have completed primary and high school, you'd have had a saving only to walk in the bank to know that you do not have an account there. So when you mention the stewardship of time, money, and talent, those are fundamentals. But in the context of the book, I wanted to expand the understanding even further. Stewardship is really about how we manage everything that is entrusted to us. Not just externally, but internally as well. So yes, we are called to steward our time, our resources, and our gifts, but also our thoughts, our emotions, our healing, or even our identity. Because if we do not steward what is within us, it will eventually show outwardly, which ties back to the earlier point. Whatever the heart carries will be revealed. The Bible reminds us in 1 Peter 4 and verse 10 that as every man hath received a gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. So, steward is not just responsibility. It is accountability with purpose. And I think what happened over time is that, as you rightly said, with the decline of the structured religious education in many spaces, some of these principles are not being reinforced in the same way, but we are still deeply relevant. In fact, in a world that is increasingly distracted and disconnected, stewardship becomes even more critical, because what you do not manage intentionally, life will manage it for you. So that section was really a call for people to return to conscious living, to ask, what has been placed in my hands? When I used to go to church, because I don't really go to church for a while. When I used to go to church, I used to have a church sister that used to pray. And she said, nothing in my hands. Every time she prayed, she said, nothing in my hands I bring, but I cling only to the old rugged cross. You just need to have an outstretched hands and be willing to receive. Once you are willing to receive, what has been placed in your hands, what has been placed within you, and how well you manage it is very important, because restoration is not just about receiving. It is about storing what you recover. So once you are able to stretch, you would be able to store, take responsibility, take accountability for what you have recovered.
Okay, Doc. Guys, the book is What the Enemy Took. I am taking it back. The line of recovery. The Lord recompense thy work, and a full reward be given thee. Ruth 2:12. Dr. Onika Campbell Rowe. So this is the book. Where can they get it to buy?
The book is being sold on Amazon.
Okay. All right, guys, so you can go and check it. It is a well-written book, succinctly well-written. It's for everybody, but she refers to women in it, so of course she's a woman. So please go and support her. We're going to stop here. There are other questions that I have about feminism and all of those stuff. That's another show, so you have to come back and deal with that. It's 11 o'clock. I'm not going to divert from this because I think this is a good place to end. Yes, Yoshel, thanks for lending me. Nobody ever got a cent from those accounts here. Nobody never got a cent. It's a national scam. We need a commission of inquiry into the school.
Absolutely.
Until
they get a whole chapter.
Yes, a commission of inquiry into the school bank account system that has operated in Jamaica from the 1980s. I don't know if it's still going on. I think it stopped. Probably stopped.
I hope not.
Probably it stopped at the turn of this. Probably stopped somewhere in 2000.
That's white collar scamming.
Can't wait to read. Yeah, it's a good book. Wonderful interview. Yeah, Unique. Thank you for watching and thank you for encouraging. And if you have any tips to give me or I can improve my craft, feel free to. If you don't want to say it to me, you can say it to J Bell, and he will say it to me. One of the things, though, if you say to me that I should listen to myself or listen to the interviews, it's unlikely that I am going to do that because I'm going to like, Shane, you didn't just do that. You really did that. You really said that. So I'm going to be too subconscious. So I'm not going to learn anything from it because I'm always awfully subconscious about how I sound or, why did you make that face or those stuff. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Doc, thank you for a deep interview. And there are times when I just basically had to chop off certain tangent and not go on those tangent because if we went on those tangent, we would have been here until it would have been 5 hours, 5-hour conversation, and we don't want that. So I will max 3. I'm not in the tune for 4 hours and 5 hours yet now. So thanks, Doc. All the best to you. Next writing project? Where can we reach you?
Yes, so my next writing project, the book is actually finished and it is called From the Black Sheep to the Palace. And that is inspired by me going to be coronated in summer as a queen in Central Region, Ghana.
I am not even going to pursue that tangent, I'm just going to leave it at that because, okay, Madam Ghanaian, and I'm Mr. Nigerian. All right, cool. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you for watching, and thank you for the commendations. So what's the name of the book again? Because you broke up a while ago there.
From the black sheep to the palace.
From the black sheep to the palace. And this one is what the enemy took. I am taking it back. All right, guys. And next, from the black sheep to the palace. So please support her. How can we reach you?
Me?
Yes, how can we reach you? If somebody who is watching and want you, invite you to do a talk or whatever, how can they reach you?
Oh, I do have a page via my foundation. It's on Harmony for Humanity Foundation that manages most of my operations. Or contact details are there, as well as email address. I am also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and also Instagram. And it is my name, Dr. Onika Campbell Rowe.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Rowe, Onika Campbell Rowe, the girl from Chambers Spring, Western Hanover, from the hills of Hanover to the plains of Antigua and the 360 odd beaches of Antigua. Congratulations. Thank you for agreeing to come on and talking to us. Yoshel, thank you so much for recommending her. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for making the contact. And thank you for loaning me this book. And read it. Support your auntie. And go on Amazon, guys. Those of you who are not related to her who are watching from work and from other place elsewhere, please go and support her. And if you want to talk to me or you want to do an interview about any project or anything that you're up to, feel free to reach out. And I noticed that thing is spinning. I don't know what Flo has in mind. And yeah, they have been giving trouble from a couple of days now. So, Doc, thank you so much. All the best to you. We're going to do a second interview. And as I said, I'm going to be talking about feminism, especially in light of the whole postmodern movement and certain things and transgenderism and erosion of some of the privileges that women would have, but not so much into that, But I'm also going to talk about if the promises of feminism, if that was met, if that was worth it, if the role of women is actually in the home, if it's all worth it to climb the social ladder while your biological clock is ticking and not fulfilling the purposes of those are some of the conversations I would have loved to have tonight, but I am not going to go down that line, because if I go down that line tonight, 1 o'clock we are still here. So you're going to come back again and we're going to have that conversation about the promise of feminism and all of those things and modern life, and especially millennials and all of these guys, all of us who were born in the late 70s straight up to the early 2000s. If the things that we were taught, the promises that were made to us, especially through education and all of those things, if those things have become reality. And we're going to be having that whole discussion at a next time, okay, to be announced. And the theme is going to be modernity versus traditionalism. This is going to be the theme. Modernity versus traditionalism. And that is going to be an interesting conversation, I can bet.
It is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it is going to be. All right. So, Doc, any last words from you as we wrap up?
Yes. Thank you so much for this conversation. It has been truly meaningful.
Yeah.
If there is one thing I would want anyone listening or watching to take away, is this. You are not defined by what you have lost, what you have been through, or what has been spoken over you. Life will bring challenges. There will be moments of pain, moments of confusion, or even moments where it feels like something has been taken from you, your peace, your identity, and your voice. But I want to remind you that loss is not the end of your story. There is always an opportunity for restoration. The restoration begins when you make a decision to confront lies, to release the guilt, to take responsibility where necessary, and to reclaim who you are created or who you are called to be. Remember, Joel reminds us in 2 verse 25, God will restore the years that have been lost. That means nothing is wasted. Not your pain, not your journey, not even your mistakes. So, my encouragement is simple. Do not settle for what has been taken. Do not become comfortable in what was never meant for you. Stand in truth, walk in purpose, and make a decision. And whatever the enemy took, you are taking it back. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Doc. Bell is saying that it should be next week. And Bell, it is not maternity, it's modernity. So it's MODERNITY. So it's modernity versus traditionalism. And Bell is saying that you should come back next week, Thursday. Doc, I do not know if your schedule will allow that.
I will have to check. Next week, Thursday is what day?
It's up to you.
What date is that?
It's the 9th.
I'll have to check. I'll check and get back to you.
All right, cool.
No problem.
All right. Thank you, Doc. Guys, this has been a scintillating and interesting and powerful show. Thank you so much for being with us. And see you. When did I say? Tomorrow? No. See you.
Happy Easter, everyone.
Yeah, happy Easter, everybody. Go to church.
I
tomorrow.
really would love a bun.
Guys, send your auntie and sister, auntie and cousin a bun. No, please just send it by Xerox it or whatever. Oh. Hey, they can take it to you in May.
In May? In May, I told her I'm going Serbia in May.
Oh, so we won't. Yeah, I really.
So depending on the time when she's coming, I may be able to. I will be here, but by the time they're returning, then I may not be here. But
yeah, we.
If she's bringing the bond, then she'll have to
FedEx. Your brother is saying that it can be FedEx. You can send it.
Absolutely, I would really love to get a bond.
Your child says she'll bring it when she's coming. Don't worry.
Certainly.
And boy, if I get some money, I'll be there. But right now, the pocket kind of weak. Bella and I want to be there, but yeah,
you will be there. No worries.
Yes, in faith, believing. Happy Easter, guys, and see you all next show. Thank you for watching. This has been Real Life on JBL Entertainment TV. We're sponsored by my good friend, Shook's good friend, Miss Mark, Sky Beach. Guys, JCI Jamaica Convention is coming up, hosted by JCI Hopewell. Bell, I sent you the video. All right, we do that on next show. October 2 to 4 in at Grand Palladium. Those of you who are wherever you are on Jamaica, over the world, and you want to come to a JCI convention, please come, register, and support us. Doc, see you. Love you. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.
Old man man sitting in a wooden chair, telling stories about love and care. Market noise and church bells ring. Hope still grows in stubborn things. No big stage, no fancy light, just a real voice in a quiet night. But truth sounds louder than any fame. Real life Jamaica calls our name. Hold the faith, walk the way, love the land, hand in hand. Hold the faith, walk the way, love the land, hand in hand. Real life Jamaica, we're living so